Hi all and welcome back to a new video. This is going to be a bit of a rare one for me because I'm not a big fan of Ante-Post betting. But I must say I'm here, the flat season's going by, ticking along, tick tock, tick tock. I want it to finish at this stage. I'm not really a big fan of the flat and therefore I'm using this video half to show a bit of Ante-Post thinking, but mostly to just create some National Hunt chat. So therefore, I'm giving you 6 Ante-Post bets for the Cheltenham Festival of 2019. It's really a bit of fun. Like, don't really look into it that much. I'm just trying to actually create debate, I suppose, about the Cheltenham Festival more than anything else, because it's 6 or 7 months away. I've put a little bit on all of these because obviously they're good prices at this time of the year. And hopefully, if one of them comes in, you might have really got your money back. So starting off, we've got 6. And in some of the markets, like William Hill and Paddy Power, they have a horse to win any race at the Cheltenham Festival market. And obviously, so that means, as it says on the tin, it can do anything. So therefore, I thought, as I'm a big fan of him, and I do think this could be his year to do something, Douvan at 12 to 1 to win any race at the Cheltenham Festival with Paddy Power is a good bet. And I tell you this why, because I think last year people can look into it a little too much. At the end of the day, he was beaten by Undersow by 2.5 lengths. Punchestown having fallen at Cheltenham when looking like he would perhaps run a good race. You never know. He was far too far out. Altio probably still would have beaten him that day, let's face facts. But at Punchestown, he's been beaten by Undersow by 2.5 lengths. Now, everyone goes on about Undersow being this great horse, iron horse, and I agree with all that. He's a very good horse. So therefore, to get that close to him, when technically that's his first run for 15 months, I think is not a bad showing. And he didn't travel with the same zest that he could do. Perhaps it was the bounce factor, perhaps there was something a little bit wrong with him. The only problem with Douvan, obviously, is that you just don't know about his health, really. It's a bit like Faugheen these days. You don't really know, is he 100% anymore? Is he back to where he was? But there's always, actually, when I ever start doubting Douvan, there's this great video on YouTube. I think Douvan, the horse that makes it look like Walk in the Park. And it's one of these tribute videos, but it's so superbly done, kind of outlining his novice chase campaign. And you just look back at some of those performances and go, bloody hell, this is some animal. And you'd love that to come true and for him to really fulfill on his promise in a Grade 1 open race at the Cheltenham Festival. I just think at 12 to 1 to win any race, like if he rocked up in the Ryanair, like I know people would probably say, he's probably not going to win the champion chase with Altior and Footpad there. Fair, maybe. But if he rocks up in the Ryanair, he could be 2 to 1, 3 to 1 on the day. And therefore, I think 12 to 1 is a good shout. That being said, I've got my second one is a Ryanair chase bet, and it is Monolith at 16 to 1 each way, which I think is a bit overpriced. I thought he'd be shorter when I looked at the market, because I do think he'll end up having to go this route, because I didn't want to say it last year because I thought he would, but he just doesn't seem to properly get the 3 miles, which does concern me that he's certainly then not going to get 3 mile 2 at Cheltenham, and therefore the Gold Cup is kind of out of his reach, as for all his best efforts have actually been over 2 mile 5, and therefore perhaps he should be suited with the Ryanair. You look at it and think, who's going to be in the Ryanair this year? If Undersow's in it, I think he's vulnerable at this stage. You might get a Douvan or a Footpad or something like that, which does blow it a bit out of the water. But apart from that, all of these are horses that I think Monolith can beat. He won't have Presenting Percy in his way, because Presenting Percy will definitely go down the Gold Cup route. So, therefore, 16 to 1 each way I thought was decent enough value, actually, come to think of it. In terms of the Gold Cup market, it's very difficult because the ones that really kind of are fancied are obviously right at the top of the pecking order, even at this early stage. Presenting Percy 5-1, and that's no Ante-Post value. Might Bite 6-1, Native River 7s, even Sizing John at 14s. I'm such a Sizing John fan, but I couldn't take that considering he hasn't raced for a year at this stage. Therefore, I was trying to look a little bit deeper into it, and I've decided that I'd take a little bit of a punt on Album Photo at 33-1 each way. I think that's on Paddy Parr. He's 25s on William Hill and 25 on Bet365. And I just think he's a Grade 1 winner. Realistically, he'd be a 2-time Grade 1 winner if Paul Townend hadn't hailed a cab at Punchestown. And he just seems to be an underrated horse. Like, he's mixed it with the real top novices, and people are saying, well, Presenting Percy's, well, no, he's not a certainty to win the Gold Cup, but a lot of people are fancying big time for the Gold Cup. And if he hadn't fallen at Cheltenham, he'd have been very close to Monolith, I think. He probably would still have finished third, but he would have been close to Monolith, so therefore beaten 7-8 lengths. That's not bad form in the book. And then he went on to win a Grade 1 at Fairyhouse and would have won a Grade 1 at Punchestown. So his form's top of the bus, I think. And 33-1 each way on the Gold Cup doesn't seem bad value to me. The only thing with him is whether he runs in the Gold Cup or the Ryanair. I've plumped on the Gold Cup. Then we have, it is the Mares Novice Hurdle. This is just one. I think she could run a big race if she goes, but more just for kind of my own liking of the horse. But I think Getaway Katie May at 20-1 each way for the Trullhouse Mares Novice is going to be the bet for that race. I know it's usually monopolised by Mullins horses, and therefore I would strictly put in each way, because no doubt there'll be some Mullins horse, like Lorena last year, that suddenly comes out of the water and trounces everyone. But Getaway Katie May's got excellent bumper form, concluding in winning the Mares Grade 2 bumper at Aintree, I think, under an all-out ride from Jamie Codd. I think he got banned for it, actually. He was using the old shillelagh a little too much. But Getaway Katie May is obviously a good horse, second to Relegate previous to that. And John Queally, I think, is still training her, and hopefully can produce some big performances out of her this year for the small trainer. Adding on to that bumper form, I think, it's very difficult to correlate bumper form to what's going to happen in the main novice hurdles. But I think the only one that I'm going to think about, well, I have thought about, is Carefully Selected at 16-1 for the Ballymore Novice Hurdle. A very good bumper form at the end of the day. Second in the champion bumper and only beaten by a nose by Relegate. And then I think third in the Punchestown champion bumper, when third to Tornado Flyer and Holographic. He just looks an all-out galloper. Like, he was running over 2 miles as a bumper horse, but struggling to do so, and the only time he ran over 2.4 was at Leopardstown over Christmas in his first bumper run for the yard, and he was terrific that day. I was there, and he absolutely hacked up, and that would just make me feel that this guy could be absolutely terrific at 2 mile 4, potentially even further than that in time. And therefore, I do think he's not going to run in the Supreme, so you can rule him out of that. So therefore, it's whether he goes for the Ballymore or the Albert Bartlett. I'm hoping he has too much class for the Albert Bartlett, and they'll send him for the Ballymore, and 16-1 will be a nice price for me. And last of all, our sixth and final, which is the big question on everyone's lips. Where will Sam Crow go? Obviously, nobody really knows, and therefore, by me saying this, like, I could be here in a month's time and that bet's already down the water because I've gone for a route and he'll go the other route. But I think, more personally, what I think he should do is go for the champion hurdle. And therefore, I was looking around, he was 4-1 on William Hill for the champion hurdle, 5-1 Paddy Parr, 5-1 for majority of firms, but then he was 7-1 on Bet365. So it does show you that if you shop around, you can get a better price at a different firm. And 7-1 at Bet365 I thought was overpriced. considering, like, if he does run in the champion hurdle, he will be a lot shorter than 7-1. To be honest, even in a month's time, if they announce he's going for the champion hurdle, he'll be a lot shorter than 7-1. So I decided to plumb in on that. I think I actually went to win. I don't think I went each way for that one. It was probably the only one I went just to win. Well, apart from the Duvan one. But 7-1, if he goes chasing, he goes chasing. But if he goes champion hurdle route, he's got a proper good chance, and therefore decided to go for it. Anyway, those are my 6 for now. You know, I'm looking here, to be fair, it's the 7th of September. We've over 7 months to Cheltenham, so a lot can happen in those 7. But I will keep track of these and see whether any of them even run in the race or run in a race that I've said they might do, because that's almost the first battle with Ante-Post betting, is actually getting the horse to run in the race, and you know, at least you have then a chance. But more so with this video, I want to know your guys' thoughts, and if you were to have 5 or 6 little stabs on at this time of the year, what would they be and at what prices? It's an opinion game. You guys could all disagree with me. You could all agree with me. I'm up for both. You know, I don't really mind. But if you do disagree with me, give me what you'd be putting on at this time of the year, and like I might then do one closer. Like I might do one then in January, and then obviously I'll do the main preview videos in kind of late February, early March. But that's all for me for today. It's good to be back recording videos, and obviously great to be talking about the Cheltenham Festival. Till next time, go well.